In this video, you will learn how to use the subject headings to conduct advanced searching for articles in Emcare. By the end of this video, you will be familiar with the basic process of searching for subject headings, including the mapping display, scope note, and alphabetical view. To access Emcare, go to the JCU Library homepage. There are two ways of accessing this database. The first is by going to the guides and typing in your specific health discipline. This will match you to a discipline guide where you can select Emcare from the list of databases. Alternatively, on the library homepage, you can go to the Databases tab, type Emcare and select Emcare from the A to Z list of databases. Let's examine a sample research question, break it down to its key components, and demonstrate how we would search for them. Our research question for today is identify ways to help rural communities in Australia to quit smoking. Our three main concepts are Australia, rural communities, and quitting smoking. Type our first concept, Australia, into the search box. Next, ensure Map Term to Subject headings is ticked, and it should be by default. Then click Search. This is the mapping display. It shows a list of subject headings related to our search term, Australia. Our results have an exact match for our term and some other suggestions. The subject heading Australia seems to be the best option, but before selecting, remember to check the scope note by clicking the blue information button to the right of the subject heading. This will help you determine if the heading is relevant. Subject headings sometimes provide definitions, so no matter how confident you are that this is the correct term, always read the scope note. Does this definition fit the needs of our research question? If not, at this point you would return to the mapping display and check the scope notes of other subject headings. Return to the mapping display by clicking the back button on your browser. Click on the word Australia for more information. This is the alphabetical listing of words in Emcare. Scroll down to Australia in the green section. Check the alphabetical listing to confirm that our subject heading falls under a logical broader term. In this example, we see Australia's broader term is Australia and New Zealand. Note, some Emcare subject headings have narrower terms, which in this case is all the states and territories of Australia. We would like to select all of them as many health reports are conducted at a state level and not at a national level. So for example, if we choose Australia, we may not get reports that have come from Queensland. Note that there are three sets of check boxes. The box to the left of the Emcare subject heading will find every article that has the subject heading assigned to it. So if I tick this box for Australia, I will get this many results. If you tick Explode, which is the first box on the right, Emcare will include the original subject heading and any narrower subject heading. In this example, the narrower terms under Australia are each state and territory. Notice the numbers for the states and territories do not add up to the number for Australia. These numbers are completely separate from each other. An article can have a subject heading for Queensland and not one for Australia and vice versa. So, to include them all, explode Australia by ticking the box on the right, or if you only wanted a selection of them, you can pick and choose by ticking boxes to the left of the relevant term. If you tick Focus, which is the box on the far right, Emcare retrieves results in which the subject heading is considered the major topic of the article, but does not include articles that briefly mention that term. Focus can be helpful if you find that your subject heading is very broad and has a lot written about it. For this demonstration, we're clicking the Explode button for Australia and leaving Focus unchecked. Scroll back to the top of the page and click Continue. In the search history, we can see an entry for the subject heading Australia, which we have exploded to include states and territories. To search for our next concept, smoking, type smoking into the search box and ensure Map Term to Subject heading is ticked. The mapping display shows several Emcare subject headings that could be useful. Check the scope of all to identify the best fit for our research question. Be aware there could sometimes be more than one option we want to choose. For this demonstration, even though I looked for smoking and there was a specific subject heading for that term, my research question is how to help rural Australians to quit smoking. Therefore, the subject heading smoking cessation seems to be a better fit, so let's choose that one. Investigate the other subject headings that look relevant by clicking on the scope notes. For example, smoking cessation agents, programs for prevention and reduction. These all fit our concept, so I'm going to tick them all. Make sure to click on each word and check for any narrow subject headings you may want to include. In this instance, there is nothing narrow under these particular subject headings, so I don't need to explode these terms. Instead, we will tick the boxes on the left-hand side. Scroll up and ensure it says combine with or, as we want any of the ticked Emcare subject headings to come through in our search. Now we want to look for our third term, rural. Type rural into the search box and ensure map term to subject headings is ticked. We get several options here that may be useful. Look at the rural population scope note. We see there are several used for terms which tell us what keywords redirect to this specific subject heading. These keywords are useful to harvest as synonyms for our concepts if you are going to search in other databases that do not have the subject heading functionality and only allow for keyword searches. Checking the scope notes on each of the following words, I am happy with the terms, so I will select all of them on the left. Again, there was nothing narrower for any of these terms, so I didn't need to explode any of them. Ensure to combine with or and hit continue. In the search history, we have our three separate searches. Australia, which we exploded to include states and territories, our smoking cessation set, and our rural set. Tick the box to the left of the searches. The option to combine with and or becomes available. And is what we use to combine the different concepts we have together. Articles retrieved must have all three subject headings attached. Or is used to combine synonyms or several terms that represent one of our key concepts. Our second search, which included all of the subject headings around smoking reduction, is combined together automatically with or terms. This is an example of an or search. Today we want to combine with and our three searches gives us 18 articles. Scroll down to see the results. To learn how to search for keywords in Emcare, continue on to the next video.